hairs are too big. No barber.
Yes, doctor. I think most people are struggling with that.
No, actually, normally I get this done in Apollo only, but I'm not scared with the Apollo barbering staff also. So it's live on YouTube also?
Yes, we are going live on YouTube as well as Facebook. So the link will be provided on. Right. Okay. So we'll be starting the session now.
Just 1 minute, eh?
Sure.
Please. So, Nitin, do you want to start introducing?
A very good evening to one and all. So in today's webinar about about the non-communicable diseases which are lifestyle related, like when we talk about cardiovascular or diabetes or other lifestyle related disorders.
Yes.
Given the times when comorbidity is one of the major reasons of the fatality in COVID-19, it is important that we ensure that we are basically protecting ourselves to face the situation. So in today's webinar, we have 3 doctors. First, we have Dr. Vivek Gupta, who is practicing out of Apollo Hospital. He has a vast experience in coronary angiography, balloon angiography, stent implantation, and other frontier sciences. Till now, Dr. Gupta has more than 200 invited guest lectures in various national and international conferences and has chaired more than 500 different congresses and has attended more than 100 workshops and 53 research publications and has guided few international theses in India and abroad. He has a lot of awards in the city, including Fellowship of Society of Cardiovascular Angiography and Intervention, the Fellowship of European Society of Cardiology, Vienna, Austria, the Fellowship of European Association of Percutaneous Coronary Intervention, and such awards. Welcome, Dr. Vivek Gupta.
So, I think Nitin, do you want to introduce all the doctors first, and then Dr. Gupta can start?
Yes. And
so that problem, but he's never had a heart attack.
A question related to COVID and heart attack. This is what you want to know?
Yes. Yes, doctor. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, doctor. Yes.
Hello?
Yeah. Yes, doctor.
Doctor, are we audible?
To hear you.
I think there might be some network issues there, doctor.
Yes, so...
am I audible?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
but
doctor,
we can hear you. So I think I can answer myself without listening to you.
Yes.
Your question was that what is the status of acute MI or acute coronary syndrome during the COVID era?
Yes.
So the answer would be, it's a very interesting situation and very sad situation also. Let me give you an example. Yesterday, I had to do an angiography of a patient who was tested positive about 10 days back. So overall, when I was doing a webinar with actually people, we learned about 2 months back that COVID itself is a prothrombotic condition. That means it can lead to acute thrombosis overall and especially in coronary arteries. And other than myocarditis, which is one of the complications of or consequence of COVID-19, the acute MI is also one of them. So there are 2 situations. Either the COVID patient who is otherwise not a acute coronary syndrome, who comes to you and in 2 days he becomes very sick. We all know, we have learned that only 5% to 10% patient will be sick, depending upon the comorbidities. Otherwise, 80% patient population, they do come out normally. And we require ICU in about 10%, 5% percentage of patients. So there are 2 possibilities. I'm telling you the patient, giving an example that will give a lot of teaching for all of us. The patient was hospitalized under me about 10 days back with a bad ECG and some other comorbidity, diabetes, other thing, and we decided to do angiography. But as a protocol, we have to do a COVID test in all the hospitals before hospitalizing. And this patient, unfortunately, turned out to be COVID positive. So we had to keep him in a COVID area, and we had to postpone the coronary angiography. And he became reasonably stable. We gave heparin and other things, the conservative management, aggressive conservative management. And after 10 days, his COVID test became negative. And that was yesterday morning. So before discharge, there were 2 possibilities. Either we would have discharged it, but considering that he had a acute coronary syndrome, unstable angina 10 days back, The ECG was still showing FTP changes. So we thought and we discussed with the family, and they gave a green signal, okay, please do the angiogram at 6 p.m. yesterday. So they were a little late. So now the protocol is that patient was lying in the hospital in the COVID area, COVID ward, and he was positive till that time. The protocol as per the guidelines from the government and otherwise also from IMA and August CSI, you have to wait for 17 days. This is very interesting. From the day of first positive, before you start doing any procedure, unless it becomes an emergency situation. This patient was having a mild changes, so to show that it's an emergency, we have to write a protocol on the file. Because all those patients who are tested COVID positive and they become negative, otherwise they are screened and audited later on by the government in all private hospitals. It's a routine because this is a very special disease. So my directors advised me to please write down on the file that it's an emergency situation. But this was not an acute MI because it was acute coronary syndrome vestibular angina, which has reasonably settled during the 10 days. So I thought, let me to quantify that this is acute emergency, I have to do a troponin test. So I told the family that we are not going to do today. This was yesterday evening. I'm sharing this very interesting situation. So they agreed. We sent a troponin. The report was available in the morning because it was like 7 p.m. So we thought, let us do in the morning. Patient was stable. Morning troponin was 4,000, which is very high. I'm talking of high sensitivity troponin. The low upper limit is 25. So I decided to do angiography and we thought of doing it. By the time we were thinking of shifting, he sustained acute intraval MI in the ward. And this was already, his patient was already on nomenclature current, already on T-flat, propionical aspirin, otherwise on Nicorette, other things. And he had acute intraval MI and he could not survive. He could not do anything. He became hypertension and cardiac arrest within few minutes in our Apollo hospital in the ward. While we shift, just before shifting to the cath. What we learned from this? What we are learning, because this disease we are learning every day something new. So we learned that in COVID patients, if they presented with a patient of coronary syndrome, either it was growth thrombosis or he must be pre-existing cardiac disease, which was precipitated by this COVID. And we gave local continuous days. And when we decided to angiogram, it was just one day late. It sustained an acute intraval MI. And logistics and guidelines did not allow us to do it unless we write file. This ST elevation was there earlier, yesterday evening. I would have done the same time. But since there was no ST elevation and there was no chest pain, so I thought let us wait. So COVID-19 as such is a very serious condition for heart patients. That is why the mortality in those in pre-existing heart disease, if they get COVID, it's about 15% of the data which is coming. So we did a webinar, so we start now as a protocol for everybody. All the patients who are more than 50 and one comorbid condition, you always start low molecular weight heparin subcutaneously in all the patients. And personally, I have started using also rosuvastatin and cyclosporin if they have any more than 50 years, because it's a pro-thrombotic condition and we are very, very careful. We have lost one. Another example at the time, give you which is another different example. One patient was hospitalized in the Pune. That was 1 month back. A very big man because he was a man of birth of 2,500 crore. He was in ICU. This patient was never in ICU. I'm telling you. The patient was in the ward because he had settled the STD thing. That patient was on ventilator. He was extubated. About 10 days after intubation, his test became negative and he was almost thinking of discharge. But during the time he was positive, he had sustained some MI.
So, doctor, there were a few questions which
I think I'm not able to hear you, but if you are able to hear me, I'll just take 1 minute.
Yes.
I'm just speaking one way. I'm not able to hear you what you're saying. But if you have 1 minute, I'll just explain. I think 7 p.m. So we were almost discharged this patient. He was on low heparin. He was on aspirin. And the day of discharge, sustained BT and he died. So these two examples give a clear example for us to be very, very careful from cardiologist's point that these patients can unfortunately have myocarditis or ventricular tachycardia or ventricular fibrillation, which is of course sudden death, or acute thrombosis. So this is my point. I think I will have to join the next webinar.
Yes.
To be able to talk to you in a better way. Because at this point of time, I am not able to listen to you when I am talking, and I hope you are listening. So
Understood, doctor.
if you are finishing the webinar, take leave or I will try to join with an audio again.
Yes.
Doctor.
Yeah, so we would be, Doctor, finishing the webinar in the next few minutes. So we
we are
will
just
take you
taking
in the
two-
next webinar.